it's the most intense I done seen, since college basketball.
The stakes are high. I don't think they can get much higher. It's either you take first or you might as well just lose in the first round.
I made the devil run. I gave him poison just for fun. I had one friend, now there's none. I made the devil run.
Kind of like old school at the park. I mean, if you want to stay on the court and play, you got to win.
Wherever my own, they were an army, I was alone. I broke so many bones.
So many different stories.
You have dudes out here doing all kinds of jobs and doing everything around the world, and you all come together and you play for one common goal.
I'm dead as bad can be, so it's we got bodies on the floor everywhere.
Guys gonna come out and ready to fight for that money.
Set your family up, set friends up.
It's rare, you get to play 6 games and walk away with 6 figures.
Post up for Gibbs with 7. Loose ball, picked up, right in, and Carmen's crew wins it.
I watched an empire fall.
And these are guys you play against overseas, some former NBA players, guys that should be in the NBA that's not.
We're the first guys to play on TV in a while.
There's no bigger stage in sports than ESPN.
How good is this level? We turn off the clock, establish the target score, and that will determine the winner. And we go back to the schoolyard.
Ooh, it can be intense, exciting. I think everything is catered to excitement.
That Elon ending is something else.
A shot you dream about, when you're a little kid, making a shot like that and winning that much money.
Just winner take all in the dead middle of the summer. And guys are laying it all on the line, night in and night out. That's what makes it exciting.
TBT Nation, it is time. One of the most anticipated days of the year on the TBT calendar. We are ready to unveil the 2022 TBT bracket. Year 9 of the basketball tournament, over 100 teams applied. We have the field of 64 ready to unveil just about now. My name is Chris Vosters. It's great to be one of your co-hosts for the TBT 2022 selection show. This is my 5th year being a part of the basketball tournament. It gets better and more exciting every year. One major change to note from the 2021 tournament, we have expanded the regional field from 4 last year to 8 this year. So instead of 4 regions, we've gone up to 8, still a 64-team field. Now, one of the best parts about TBT for me is the people that I get to work with, 2 of whom are with me on this TBT 2022 selection show. First, the coach, Seth Marshmallows Need Not Apply Greenberg. What's up, Coach? How you doing?
Chris, I'm happy that you look forward to working with me. I'm not sure I look forward to working with you, but that's all right. To me, the TBT is so special. The ESPN, they say, make things memorable. And that's what the TBT is, whether it's the Elam ending, whether it's alumni teams where guys get a chance to have that shared experience one more time, whether it's teams with cause, like Team Challenge ALS or Sideline Cancer or Autism's Army, all right? Those things, to me, make this tournament so special. And then finally, the competitiveness of the tournament. Like in the middle of the summer, how hard dudes play, because if you don't, you're gone, and there's your chance to win $1 million. And as you said, marshmallows need not apply. That's what makes the TBT memorable.
Let's hear from our third co-host, and she's got a better jump shot than you or I, Seth. We all know that.
True.
Angel Gray back for her second TBT. Like the shirt, Angel. What's on your mind as we get ready to tip off TBT 2022?
What's on my mind is that the airmail didn't get to Coach in time for him to match with us, but it's okay because he has the legendary TBT.
I went old school TBT, long sleeve.
Very fitting.
The hat. Come on now, old
thanks
school.
Thanks for being our anchor in that. We appreciate it. But yes, as you alluded to, Chris, just you working 5 years, obviously Coach being a big part of this. family as well, me in my second year. I honestly, I was blown away by the different teams. Obviously, we already touched on and alluded to the fact that there are so many different causes and the passion behind it and why you're diving on the floor, why each possession, even though it comes down to an Elam ending, is so important. And seeing those passion plays and seeing those stories and what everyone's fighting for is really awesome. I love the fact that even in year two, I can feel how this league is changing this summer, the anticipation for it, the teams that are new, the people that are switching teams and look for what reasons behind it just to win that $1 million. And even, I know we'll get into it later, but how the fans can get more engaged and how they can even win a little money too. Those are things where I think it just becomes a bigger, broader, like, competition for everyone to be involved in, and the energy behind it, obviously the new regions that are behind it too. The history just continues to get better and better with the TBT.
Angel, you touched on some of the major kind of great bullet points about this tournament. And before we announce the 64-team field, just a couple particulars to make sure that we're all on the same page here. Tournament tips off July 16th. The championship, once again, will be in Dayton, Ohio on August 2nd. It's a $1 million winner-take-all prize, and the bracket challenge is back as well. A fan can win up to $4,000 for selecting the best TBT bracket. We'll have more info on that later in the show, and some pretty good prizes for second, third, all the way down to, hey, I'd take $20. I don't know about you guys for placing 1,000. That's not bad.
And it's powered through Zelle. I push the button myself. It works. So this is a great thing.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. The
did it go into your account?
It didn't. And I'm still waiting on my I'm waiting on my 33 cent from last year. I know that I just wanted to put that out there for the 33-point contest.
All right. Without further ado, let's announce the 64-team field. Now, there are two regional weekends, a week one and a week two. And so let's set the stage for week one first. 4 regions composing the weekend one teams, with regions in Rucker Park, Omaha, Xavier, and New Mexico. This is a great blend of regions. Rucker Park, maybe the most unique regional host that TBT has ever had, the legendary Rucker Park in Harlem, New York. Omaha, hosted by Omaha Blue Crew, the fantastic Creighton alumni team. The number 1 seed in that region, the Gutter Cats, is a team that we will talk about later on in the show as well. Xavier, they are hosted by the Xavier alumni team. Zip them up with Florida TNT as the number 1 seed. And then New Mexico also makes its TBT regional debut. Really a testament to how TBT has become a nationwide brand. New Mexico and New Mexico State have alumni teams in the New Mexico region this year. And Heartfire is the number 1 seed in the New Mexico region. So here are the weekend one teams. And Seth, just a quick thought from you on this portion of the field.
Well, the biggest thing to me, first and foremost, is you think about the Rucker. I mean, Rucker Park. Guys that played in the Rucker don't even need a second name. All right? It's a Dr. J. It's a Kareem. It's a Kobe. It's the legends of the game. Kevin Durant in a shortened NBA season drops 66 and goes 9 for 11 from the three-point line. Skip the Malou, Ray for Halston. He's an absolute Rucker legend. Stephon Marbury. I mean, if you think about the great players in the history of the game of basketball, you know what? They stepped on that Rucker court. So to me, when I think of the regions, the Rucker to me is just fascinating. The history that's going to happen with the TBT joining forces with the great tradition of Rucker Park and the great players that play there.
Angel, what about you? Thoughts on the weekend one team field?
I'd have to start there just quickly, since Coach did such a marvelous job covering the Rucker Park and the history, but even to the notable faces that are going to be there for YGC and Marcus Smart having a team there, being one of the coaches that's supposed to be on the sidelines as well. I think that's so awesome, and the investment that is going to be shown there is too. But I really want to see Team Heartfire and how they've combined and merged with Team 23, obviously a team that lost in the championship game. So there's a lot of notables there. I think Xavier is going to be one of those best regions where you can see so many different teams like going at it. So I'm excited to see a little bit of a cross city competition too, in a lot of different ways in Cincinnati and that Ohio region too.
So if weekend one has got some newness to it in terms of regions that have not been a part of the TBT landscape before, Let's look at the weekend 2 field now, and you're going to see a lot of familiar regions with hosts in Wichita, Syracuse, West Virginia, and Dayton. Wichita, of course, is fronted by the Wichita State alumni team, the Aftershocks. This is Wichita's 3rd year hosting a TBT regional. They've done a fantastic job. Syracuse is also a repeat host. Boeheim's Army, the Syracuse alumni team, the defending champions, they are hosting a TBT regional for the first time since 2019. West Virginia hosted last year. I know Seth and Angel, the three of us had that region. It was so fun seeing West Virginia and Heard That combined to host that regional. The West Virginia and Marshall alumni teams, respectively, did such a great job. And then Dayton, of course, Red Scare, the Dayton alumni team, the host of that region, they have a chance to host all the way to the championship. It's Dayton's 2nd year hosting the TBT championship, and the money team is the number 1 seed in that regional. But Seth and Angel, it wouldn't be a TBT if we didn't have some breaking news to share. And this is just coming across the dial right now. ESPN's Jeff Borzello is reporting that none other than the Jimmer Fredette is playing for the money team in TBT 2022. This is not Jimmer's first run with TBT. He played in 2018 as well. He fronted Team Fredette and averaged only about 31 points per game in TBT 2018. So, Angel, this is huge news to have Jimmer Fredette back in the tournament.
I mean, we already talked about it at the top of the show, right? This just continues to get bigger and better. The money is huge. It's a draw for every team. Teams are paying to get into this tournament at this point. When you have the talent that can back it up, as a Jimmer Fredette, I think that's amazing. Obviously, we saw him be the National Player of the Year back in 2011, but he's just a sharpshooter. He does everything the right way. I love his style. He spent some time in New York, so he has a little swag too. So there's so many different things that we can talk about for how he's going to be a huge part of the money team. And they're angry from last year too. I know that they wanted to go a little further than what they did, but it's going to be interesting to see how he fits into the mold of everything, the fold.
I spent time in New York. You don't say I have swag. What's up with that?
Well, Coach, we're going to have to address that offline. How about that?
Jimmer Fredette, that team is good. I mean,
right.
Jimmer Fredette is a human bucket. But, I mean, you think about Jeremy Evans, slam dunk champion. You think about Trevor Booker, who's in the mountain masquerading as a man. But Jimmer Fredette will pack them in because I don't know what the ability to make plays and make shots. He's just got it, and he plays at a very, very high level, and he does things very. He makes shots very few people could make, and he's got ridiculous range. That is huge news for that region. And those Dayton guys, how about that? They won't even have to leave home if they could have a chance to advance.
Not 1 mile.
Not 1 mile. And you mentioned what Jimmer Fredette brings to the table, Coach, and Angel, you did as well. I mean, with the Elam ending, I mean, it almost makes a skill set like Jimmer Fredette's even more potent in a situation like that, where every game ends on a game-winning shot. A quick reminder that exact game times and dates will be announced later today. So just tune into @the_tournament on social media for the complete schedule. We've got the rundown. So you know the 64-team field now. And guys, let's now break it down region by region, starting with the Rucker Park region. And we'll actually unveil the matchups for you right now. And let's just go top to bottom on this. The 1 seed in the Rucker Park region is Team YGC. This is a team backed by Marcus Smart. And YGC is, I guess it really is Marcus Smart's social media moniker, Young Game Changer. They take on the Chicago Hoopville Warriors in round 1. Chicago Hoopville Warriors, a TBT staple team in their 7th season in the tournament. We also have HBC United against Skip to My Lou. The historically black colleges and universities United team is in its 2nd year at TBT. Skip to My Lou, coached by Skip to My Lou himself, Rafer Alston, is on the other side in that matchup. The Expats, a Patriot League All-Star team, takes on the Big Five. That is a Philadelphia All-Star team, if you will, with athletes from Villanova, Temple, St. Joe's, Penn, and LaSalle, all Philadelphia area colleges. Autism Army, in its 2nd year, won 2 games in Peoria last year. They play for a New York-based autism support group. They take on Peacock Nation, a St. Peter's alumni team composed of players who were a part of the St. Peter's Cinderella run at the 2022 NCAA tournament. It's great to see them in TBT action. And Coach, you already touched on this, but the Rucker Park bracket specifically, it warrants a big picture look first because of the history and the tradition that is going to be a part of this portion of the TBT tournament.
Yeah, this is historic. The NBA has invested a lot of money into Rucker Park to obviously improve the court. But when you think of the Rucker Park, you think of really the great tradition of the game of basketball. And to be able to have a TBT game outdoors in Rucker Park, under the lights, the atmosphere, the energy, and then you start to think about the great history, some of the players that we mentioned earlier. I mean, Kareem played in Rucker Park. Durant played in Rucker Park. Kobe played in Rucker Park. Tiny Archibald, Earl Monroe. Look it up, kids. He was pretty good. I mean, you're talking about Connie Hawkins played in Rucker Park. You're talking about a great tradition of the game of basketball. And when you think about competition, the great thing about Rucker Park back in the days, you lose, you're gone. And that's what TBT is all about. Like, you lose, you're sitting for a while. So to me, what the Rucker Park represents is exactly what the TBT is all about. It's about competition. It's about a show. It's about being on the biggest stage in the biggest city. So you've got such great history in this region, and the history should reflect the history of the game, which Rucker Park is just a big part of. I'm so excited to watch that region. It almost makes me sick not to be part of it, because you will be part of history and a feeling of really, it's kind of a place where legends were made. And who knows what legends will be made in the coming weeks at Rucker Park from the TBT.
Well, you're definitely a part of history, Coach. Let me make no mistake.
It's not very good, but it's history.
All right. Well,
so
as Coach said,
for you.
You're right.
For you. I just want to let you know that.
Keep the guns closed. I got you, Coach.
All right. The winner of the Rucker Park Regional is going to play the winner of the Xavier Regional. And let's take a look at the Xavier bracket right now. Again, Zip 'em Up is the de facto host of this region, the Xavier alumni team. But Florida TNT is the number 1 seed. 3rd season TBT program. They went to the semis last year. They take on Team About Billions, who makes its first year or its TBT debut this year. They are under boxer Adrian Broner's brand, Team About Billions. Elsewhere in the Xavier bracket, Nasty Natty. That is a first-year Cincinnati alumni team. Now, there was a Cincinnati alumni team that competed in 2018 under Bearcat Jam, but for all intents and purposes, a first-year Cincinnati alumni team that plays the Fort Wayne Champs in the first round. Fort Wayne Champs, the TBT fan vote team from 2021. This is their 7th year in the tournament. Zip 'em Up, again, the Xavier alumni team is in its 2nd year. They draw Sweet Home Alabama, a first-year TBT team in the first round. And then Sideline Cancer, a TBT original, Believe Always. They take on Defeat Diabetes, a first-year TBT program that competes for a Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. We mentioned causes being such a big part of TBT, teams that play for causes, and that will be a great matchup between 2 cause teams, Sideline Cancer and Defeat Diabetes. Angel, this is a stacked region, in my opinion. Absolutely. I mean, you've got teams like Florida TNT, Sideline Cancer, and Zip 'em Up, who have all won in this tournament before. What's your take on this region?
It's one of my favorite regions by far. I think the talent there is just so unbelievable. Florida TNT, being able to watch them even in Dayton, and how heartbreaking it was to see them lose. I know they're replaying that still by Tyrese Rice. I think he's had, some real estate in a couple of people's minds just with the way that he plays, the way that he wins, but they were so close. And I love the fact that they're bringing everybody back, right? The fact that they have the talent, they have more people that are going to be able to come with them. I think a couple of the new additions, Rob Gray from Houston, Antonio Blakeney, LSU and the Bulls as well. And then Jonathan Holton from West Virginia. I think one of the best rosters by far. Like, you're looking at the talent and obviously what got them to Dayton in the first place, but how they got better. So I'm really keeping my eye out on them. We already mentioned the cause teams too. Obviously the Griffith family, a huge part of TBT. They're since the inception. I mean, there's not much that you wouldn't want to do or cover for them, and they just do an amazing job. But it's not just the calls. They're a great team. They're an electric team. And I think when you're looking at even Marcus Keene and what he can be for the group again, it's just time and time again, you see play after play after play, not just within TBT, but they were making sports center plays at that time as well. And such a fast group. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they're doing that. CJ Miles now a big part of their roster too. So that's going to be awesome. And then Mo Creek. I mean, you look at the roster, hands down, so many different people that you can count on that they can like call up and you can get a bucket. And you already mentioned it, Chris. In Elam Ending, like what does it look like when you have so many different options to go to down the stretch? I think that's really going to be huge for Sideline Cancer. And obviously with Zip 'em Up, I think they're fun to watch. They're one of the fastest teams in the league. And I think just pushing the pace, that's one of the teams that I want to see kind of teamed up against one another with Sideline Cancer and Zip 'em Up, because there's so many different things that you can push the pace in that direction as far as what you're going to look like in that fourth quarter. So I think it's a potent region. I'm excited to cover it. But for sure, Florida TNT is one of those teams that's just physical. They got better and they just can attack on each level of the floor.
We're delighted to bring on a guest right now who's got a pretty amazing story of his own, representing Sideline Cancer, Mo Creek, a guy who's been on some big teams and has hit some big shots over the course of TBT history. Mo, it's great to have you on. And first of all, just great to see you. We know that you were playing in Ukraine right around the time that the Russian invasion began. And my brother, it's just great to see you safe and healthy. And how you feeling as you get ready for another run at TBT?
It's pretty good to be home. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to be playing in TBT again. It's always a blessing to be on a team where you know you can give it another shot.
Mo, Seth Greenberg here. What does TBT, Sideline Cancer, the Griffith family mean to you? I saw all the videos obviously when you arrived back home, and TBT is bigger than just winning and losing games. What does the TBT and Sideline Cancer mean to you personally? Because I think that's as important as anything.
Yeah, they're the family, a lot of people don't usually get. To be a part of an organization like Sideline Cancer, from playing overseas and playing against Jermaine Marshall and Remy the year I was in Finland, for them to call me on and play and to be on there, that was our first year together, and the brotherhood and the familyhood that we had built in that little spirit of time is unusual for anything.
Mo, Angel Gray here. I just wanted to kind of further dive into the team that you said that you're excited to come back to because you know that you can make another run at it. You add Mike Dom, CJ Miles, two other players that are highly respected within this league. What's the look of this team, and what excites you most about playing alongside the talent that you're bringing back?
To bring CJ Miles on, that was a huge piece. NBA vet. It reminds me of like playing against overseas elite, and they had Joe Johnson, NBA vet, and he's done things that we dreamed of doing. Playing in the league for 16 years is not easy, and I know he's going to bring that veteran leadership, and that's what we needed. We needed somebody who has that veteran leadership and can put us over the top. Mike Dom, that was a huge piece too. Somebody who can stretch the floor. He plays at all three levels. He can low post, mid range, and a three. He's a very athletic guy, and he was a great piece to the puzzle. I was very excited about that. And like all the other pieces that we have, it just brings it all together. And we're a fast group. We get a lot of shots up in a short period of time, and that's hard for people to check. So I'm just very excited for this team. I feel like this is one of the most talented teams that we've had, maybe the most talented team that we had. And so I'm very excited for this year.
Mo, we really appreciate the time. Again, Sideline Cancer has become one of the iconic TBT brands, and you've been a huge part of that. Great to have you back in the field this year. Good luck with your pre-tournament prep, and we can't wait to see you in Cincinnati.
Thank you.
Be good, Mo.
All right, that is Mo Creek of Sideline Cancer. And again, the winner of the Xavier Regional will play the winner of the Rucker Park Regional in Dayton. Let's move on and reveal another pair of regions, beginning with Omaha. And the number 1 seed in the Omaha region, Gutter Cats. At first glance, that's a new TBT team name at least, but they are the result of a Team Heinz partnership, and they are sponsored by Puma. And so even though they're a first-year team, they have the number 1 seed in the Omaha region. That team is absolutely loaded. They take on the Crew, another first-year TBT squad that is a Valparaiso alumni team. And on a quick note, we want to extend our heartfelt condolences and best wishes to Brandon Wood and his family. Brandon plays for the Crew. He lost his wife in a car accident 2 weeks ago. We're thinking about you, Brandon, and are rooting for you as you get ready for TBT this summer. Elsewhere in the bracket, Always Us, an Oregon alumni team, will draw the Jackson, Tennessee Underdogs, in their 6th season, a TBT staple program as well. The Omaha Blue Crew, the host of this region, and a Creighton alumni team, they had 2 wild games here. Deverell Biggs and an Elam Ender. They lost to Aftershocks the following night. They take on Team Overtime, a first-year TBT team representing the Overtime media brand. Team Arkansas, in its 4th tournament, takes on DeGuys STL, a St. Louis product or based TBT team. They are supported by Jason Tatum and Bradley Beal. You may have heard of those guys. Of course, both representing St. Louis. All right, Coach, I got to ask you about Gutter Cat Gang first. Why do you think a first-year team draws the 1 seed in that bracket?
Well, really, Kyle Hines. Kyle Hines is one of the most decorated players to ever play in Europe. He's one of the most respected players to ever play in Europe. He's one of the winningest players to ever play in Europe. He has the character, the toughness, and leadership skill to elevate this team. Then you add Tyrese Rice, who's one of the greatest guards who's ever played in Europe, another guy that has TBT experience, a TBT championship, and a maturity about him. And that separates those guys. And they've added other players, like they've added Jarrell Eddy, who played actually for me at Virginia Tech. Despite that, he played in the NBA for a while and has had a tremendous – you're supposed to laugh at that, Angel. And has had a tremendous career overseas, a big time bucket getter. And then Odiasi, the kid from Illinois Chicago, can really rebound it. So they've got good pieces. They're built a little bit in the lines of overseas elite. Everyone's kind of tried to take that model. And Kyle Hines has a better understanding. But Kyle Hines, you got to stand now. He's won 4 European championships. Just came off, signed a new contract the other day with Olimpio Milano, which is absolutely tremendous. And he does it by just being a winning player. So I could see them as the number 1 seed. But it's going to be hard to get past the Blue Crew, because I mean they are playing at home. It's a great. People don't understand. Creighton's got great fans and great traditions, and they're. I'll be interested to watch the Blue Crew team because they got Justin Patton, who was the 16th pick in the NBA draft. They got Marcus Foster, an explosive guard, and we all know you need explosive, quick, aggressive, attacking guards. And Dougie McDermott's going to be an assistant coach, so they can convince him to play. Forget about it. Don't worry about the next NBA season. Dougie, let's step on. It's a home game. Boom, knock down some jumpers. Let's get it going. I mean, this thing could get crazy.
And playing at DJ Sokol Arena, that's a gorgeous arena. That the Omaha region, one of the first regions to tip off TBT 2022. They start along with the Rucker Park Regional to begin TBT 2022. Paired with Omaha is the Wichita region, and we'll take a look at that portion of the bracket now. The winner of the Wichita region plays the Omaha winner in the quarterfinals, which will also be in Wichita. This is the one case or the one quarterfinal that will not be played in Dayton. Wichita does such a great job drawing quite literally record-setting crowds in TBT, and no surprise to see Wichita and the Aftershocks hosting a region for the 3rd year. They draw D3 in the first round. D3's 4th TBT. They have not gotten out of the first round, but they have played an outstanding crop of teams in the first round and have played every single one of them to the wire. That could be a sneaky good first round matchup. We also have the Stillwater Stars. an Oklahoma State alumni team taking on the Air Raiders, a Texas Tech alumni team. So some Big 12 love playing out in Wichita there. Speaking of Big 12, Purple and Black, a Kansas State alumni team in its 6th tournament, takes on the Lone Star Legends, who makes its TBT debut this year, and a TBT program classic, Eberline Drive. They have been accepted to every tournament since TBT began in 2014. They had the unfortunate COVID test result in 2020 that disqualified them from the field 2 years ago, but they are back as the 2 seed in the Wichita region, and they take on a first-year TBT team, Bleed Green, a North Texas alumni team. Angel, some really good college alumni teams in this bracket.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to go back to something that Coach Greenberg said, just as far as the environment and the draw. I don't think there's any other team within any region that can say that more than Wichita and the Aftershocks. We saw how many games came down to the wire, and it felt like it was a Final Four game every single time for their road getting to Dayton. And my only question with them was the energy that the fans gave them. And they traveled a couple of people to the arena too in Dayton, but it changed how they flowed. And obviously when you have, Connor Frankamp, one of the most electric players within TBT, that's huge. I think he has the best hair too. Coach, I don't know. Coach, leave the hat on. Never mind. I think,
big fan. I'm a big fan.
But just looking at him too, I mean, such an electric team, obviously really, really good. They lost to Florida TNT in Dayton, but I think just a renewed, I guess, passion behind what they're trying to do and coming out of Wichita. So that's going to be very interesting. I want to talk about Eberline Drive too. We've mentioned them trying to find that core and trying to really figure out what pieces they're going to have. Obviously, one of the longest tenured teams within the TBT, but what is going to actually bring a little bit more chemistry? What's going to bring the cohesion with that group? Because they have so much talent within their roster. It's just how much time do they have to spend together and actually learn how to win together. But the Air Raiders, I think that's very interesting too. I'm excited about the Air Raiders because of Matt Mooney. I saw him with the Cavs in Cleveland, and he is a sharp shooter. I mean, just seeing him go through practice, going through different things. And we've seen him do a couple of the interviews with our guys too, just about what this journey has been like for him, his experience within this league too. I think that's going to be really, really huge for them to add so many different threats from the outside. And you got to make buckets. When it comes down to play, it's not about who has the best crossover. It's not about the best person that is most efficient in the paint. It's about who makes buckets, and threes are more than 2. So when you have that on your roster, I think that's very impressive.
We are thrilled to be joined now by the 2021 TBT MVP, Tyrese Rice. And also for the last couple of TBTs now, Tyrese, you've been one of the coveted free agents of the tournament. You won TBT last season with Boeheim's Army. You're playing for Gutter Cats this season. What went into your decision to ultimately play for Gutter Cats in TBT 2022?
Me and Cal, we've had a lot of conversations, in the past about, just playing together and joining his team on the TBT. The one summer that I didn't play, I think it was 2018 summer. I think it was the year when Ohio State won it. When Mike James and Collectors and all those guys were on his team, I was actually supposed to be on that team as well. So it's kind of been something that's been, in the making, something that, that could potentially happen. Kyle's always been a guy that I respected a lot. So, for him to come to me with, this opportunity, I was like, well, let's see, let's do it.
Let's face it, Tyrese has been in the transfer portal a couple of times. He's came out. He ended up with a championship. He's doing okay. I mean, life is good. Hey, here's the question for you, though. Like, dude, you haven't played in a year. The last time you won a championship, you haven't played. What are you doing to get yourself rery for the TBT? Because you know how damn competitive it is. So what are you doing to get yourself in shape?
Yeah, last year either.
I guess that worked out pretty good.
It worked out pretty good in the end. We had a couple of guys, had a couple of champions with us, so that made the transition a little bit easier. But just staying in shape. I mean, I'm a guy. I'm in the gym often anyway, regardless if I'm playing or not.
You know what? It's just good to see you back. Obviously, TBT is a huge family, and obviously the competition is always great. You've been on the winning side. But now with this new team, I like the merge of even how New World with NFTs and how you're with Gutter gang right now, which was one of the biggest NFTs. How that kind of like plays into like your choice behind it, and are you getting paid in NFTs and crypto at this point? Like I feel like that's the new thing.
On my own or from the Gutter Cat game? On my own, I have definitely got into cryptos and stuff like that. I've been into it. I've always done a lot of research just on everything about the metaverse. The NFT part, that's the hardest game to get into, I think. For yourself to actually go and be able to purchase one. Like I've done all the research, everything, but being able to attain one is a totally different task. But it's definitely interesting. It's definitely the way, life is going to go. It's going to go towards that way. A lot of money is going to come through there. So, I think it's important for all of us to know.
What drives you to come back and play again? Besides Kyle, look, you've had an incredible career. You've had a legendary Hall of Fame career. I don't get into the NBA versus you've had a legendary career as a collegiate, as a professional player. What drives you to get back at it? Is it Kyle? Is it you missed a little bit of the competition? Do you miss playing?
For a full season, no, I do not. But for the summertime, it's an opportunity, to play back home again. Playing abroad for 12 years, 11 years. A lot of your friends, a lot of your family, they don't get to see you play, as often. Even though I'm on the, well, I don't want to say the back end because it's over for me. It's only the summertime, but just for them to be able to come to games. Just for my especially my youngest son, being able to have him come and actually see me play live and things like that, it's just a whole different, it's a different kind of way of going about how we approaching games. Like I never thought playing games at home would mean so much to the people here, and it means a lot to them to be able to see me play after all these years.
Well, Tyrese, we really appreciate you coming on. Thanks so much for your time. And again, you've become one of the faces of this tournament. Congratulations again on the championship last year, and we're really excited to see you lace them up with Gutter Cats this year. Well, if there's one region that can put forth a counter argument to Wichita having the best fans and the most dedicated fan base, it's probably Syracuse. And that's the bracket that we are going to unveil next. Syracuse, of course, they can boast Boeheim's Army, the defending champs. General manager Kevin Belby finally got his team over the hump in 2021. Now in its 8th season, Boeheim's Army takes on a first-year TBT team, India Rising, in the first round. We also have the Nerd team taking on Brown and White, a St. Bonaventure alumni team. Both of those teams are competing in TBT for the second year. Another team that we're really excited about that might look new to the field, the Friday Beers team. Now, this is really the result of a merger with Armored Athlete, who's been part of the TBT fabric for a very long time. Friday Beers, of course, the sensational Instagram account. We'll talk to the Friday Beers co-founders a little bit later in the show. They draw Mental Toughness, a second-year team that plays on behalf of the JCK Foundation in the first round in Syracuse. And then the 2-7 matchup, Blue Collar U against NG Saints. Blue Collar U, a Buffalo alumni team, as a TBT debutante last year, they made the semis. So for as difficult as it can be for first-year teams in TBT, as a first-year team last year, Blue Collar U went all the way to the semis. So it can be done. They take on NG Saints. That's a second-year TBT team representing Newman Goretti High School. So, Coach, Boeheim's Army, defending champs. How hard is it going to be for them to repeat this year, you think?
It's going to be hard. I mean, they're going to be pieces. They're missing pieces, but you know what? They still have championship pedigree. And when I look at Kevin Belby, did a great job of kind of reinventing Boeheim's Army in a lot of ways. So, do you think about Tyler Ennis, former 18th pick of the Phoenix Suns? Big guard can get in lane, score it, make plays. Boom, Rakeem Christmas, all right? Gives him a front court player that played in the NBA. Kyle Wilcher, a big-time four-man that can stretch the defense and knock down three. Those guys are dangerous, but my pedigree, to me, comes down to DJ Kennedy, and DeAndre Kane. I mean, DJ Kennedy's got 5 TBT championships. DeAndre Kane's got 3 TBT championships. To me, we could talk about the great shot at the end of the game. We can talk about all of that happened last year at TBT. You've got to have someone that's been there and done that. You have to have someone that basically has an identity and a culture of a champion. And that's what Kevin Belby did when he brought those 2 guys to Boeheim's Army. Boss is going to be a difference maker in the backcourt, another guy that can get in the lane, because you need guys that can make plays. DeAndre Kane's a bucket. DJ Kennedy's going to make winning plays. It's just the way it is. Tyler Ennis can get the ball anywhere he wants, anytime he wants it. So I think I like this team. And remember, Marek Dolezaj, he's like a Swiss Army knife, and he's young. He gives them young, fresh legs, which is really important. So I really like Syracuse and Boeheim's Army. I really do.
The winner of that Syracuse region, by the way, will take on the winner of the New Mexico regional. And we're, again, really excited to welcome New Mexico as a first-time region host to TBT this year. The 1 seed in that region, Heartfire, a third-year team, they merged with Team 23. They play on behalf of Heartfire Missions. They take on Competitive Choice, who makes its TBT debut this year. The matchup that a lot of people will circle in this region, in the first round anyway, Enchantment versus Panamaniacs. Enchantment is a New Mexico alumni team. The Panamaniacs, a New Mexico State alumni team, in its first year, making the 3-hour journey to New Mexico's barn to play in TBT. That'll be a great matchup. Also, the LA Cheaters, third-year TBT program, take on Ram Up, a Colorado State alumni team. Challenge ALS, one of the signature brands of TBT, makes its 6th tournament appearance, and they draw Once a Bronco, a Boise State alumni team. Angel, a lot of newness in this bracket, but you got Challenge ALS as well, bringing some veteran experience to this region.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, you mentioned it off the top of the show, just with the TBT in its 9th season, it's also when you can see expansion. So obviously with the new regions that are here, New Mexico being a big part of it, and seeing that in-state rivalry right off the bat is really, really cool for the draw there, and seeing, what the fans will do in regard to that matchup. But you mentioned it. I mean, newness across the board. You're looking at Competitive Choice. You also see Once a Bronco through Boise State, and then Ram Up, a first-year team as well. But obviously, I think this region has the best names of all the groups. If you want to be quite frank, if we're voting in that regard, I think it is with the Panamaniacs. I think it's cool that they're bringing in even Johnny McCants coming from the undergrad team, and now with this group, I think it's going to be fun to see how they can go in that in-state rival. But what it comes down to is people want to see winning plays, and they want to see the most talented groups going at it. And I think with Heartfire, I think that is the main team that you're looking at coming in right off the bat. I love the fact that Team 23 was able to merge with another team, obviously for reasons off court, where they feel like the mission and the passion and the purpose behind things is really good to merge with them. And I think one of my coolest stories too came from what Team 23 was doing off the court for the communities and the Dream Center, and being out of Atlanta and what that team looks like as well. So those are the things that I look at and what Heartfire means to them, and seeing what the coaching staff said about that. But when you're looking at, them being coached this year, I think it's cool with LaFonso Ellis, our guy, who, he just pulls the best out of every player on the team. So I think it's going to be really, really cool to see how dynamic they can be, how potent they can be.
The New Mexico region winner will take on the Syracuse region winner. And let's bring in our next set of guests. Playing in the Syracuse region and fronting the Friday Beers team. It's really exciting to get to meet and talk with Sam and Max Barrett, co-founders of Friday Beers, the sensational Instagram account with over 1 million followers. Guys, everyone dreams of becoming viral. I know Seth Greenberg does anyway, but you guys actually did it. What made you decide to get involved with TBT and throw your brand behind or into this tournament?
We're 2 guys that have always loved playing basketball. We've had a
basketball junkies,
a cup of coffee, D3, both ourselves, but and our dream would be to play in something like this, but we're not nearly good enough. So we luckily were reached out to by TBT to sponsor or kind of rebrand one of the teams in the tournament. So we spoke to a couple teams. We talked to Adam and AJ at Armored Athlete and realized they would be really the perfect fit. So we're just trying to help out by getting more coverage to our team and to the tournament in general, using the social platform that we have.
And maybe put ourselves on the roster, get some minutes.
So,
now we're talking.
I was just about to say, we want to get straight to the point. Let's get straight to the turkey.
Yeah, I mean,
at least run layup lines.
Yeah, I think I would take a practice player position, whatever I can do to get on the court. But I think one of the other things we're really hoping to help out with is to battle this home court advantage that Syracuse has going for them, because we have a pretty big Northeast presence with our followers. So we're going to try to really rally our troops, maybe go head to head with Boeheim's Army and see what we can do there.
Oh, wow.
Now we're talking. I'm in that region. I like it. If nothing else, with all your followers, I know if we go to dinner, we're not paying for anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you guys know much about your team?
Yeah, so I mean,
up to Adam and CJ.
We definitely give all the credit to them for putting the roster together, but we do have some familiar background with the guys on the team. I mean, obviously there's some recognizable names like Aubrey Dawkins of the world that you were talking about. A lot of people remember his game against Duke. Guy Sean Armand, actually, we grew up in the New Rochelle, kind of New York, Connecticut area, and I actually used to go to a bunch of his games growing up at Iona, so still remember him very well. And I mean, I think there's just a good combination of, I think you were talking about it earlier, just a really athletic team that can guard all 5 positions and put the ball on the floor and make a play whenever you need it. So we're pretty excited to see what these guys can do, and we're very optimistic.
I'm a little worried. You guys break down. There goes my job.
I like it.
Like we said, we're big basketball guys.
I mean, plus when you got a guy named Frankie Ferrari on your team, you don't lose many games.
Yeah, that's true.
But we just ask guys for some nice some T-shirts or something when we see you guys in Syracuse. So
wait a minute, look at you try to pimp some T-shirts. Are you kidding?
We will have plenty to go around. So
yes. Okay. Well, Coach doesn't want one, so I just want that established. Chris, we have T-shirts on the way.
We'll make sure Coach Greenberg's got one on the way. Don't worry.
There we go. See that?
Yeah, I didn't want to share any of Greenberg's secrets.
By these two.
Well, guys, Greenberg's more of a Friday wine guy, so I think we'll work on him though, getting him on the Friday beers.
On the rocks.
That's also like our father. We know that.
Fellas, listen, it's been great having you on, and it's great to have you in TBT this year. Hopefully, the first of many more years of your involvement with this tournament. And again, congratulations. All 3 of us really resonate with what you said, that, what you see is the tip of the iceberg in terms of all the work that's gone into to sort of become the foundation for the success you now enjoy. So heartfelt congratulations, and we'll see you in Syracuse.
Thank you. We're really excited.
Yeah.
We'll bring tons of merch.
Guys.
Well, let's fly through the next region, which will be the Dayton region. See what I did there. And by the way, we would like to hone in on the fan selection team. That is Mid-American Unity. Congratulations to Mid-American Unity, the 5 seed in the Dayton bracket. They enter by way of the fan vote. So they are the 64th and final TBT team. They take on the men of Mackey in the first round. Robbie Hummel will be announcing and playing for men of Mackey in the Dayton bracket this year. Seth, that's another great bracket. I sound like a broken record at this point. The money team is the number 1 seed. Golden Eagles, can't forget about them. The 2020 champs are in this region as well. What's your take on the Dayton bracket?
First of all, Hummel, he's an Olympian 3-on-3 player. Does he understand he's got to get back on defense now?
I think he does. He's a smart guy.
I mean, he's a smart guy and a great broadcaster, and he was a great player. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, just a phenomenal player. Look at this. Look, the money team. Just having Jimmer Fredette. I mean, the concept of having Jimmer Fredette back in the TBT and his ability to score. Jeremy Evans, who could run up and down the floor and fly. Trevor Booker, who's obviously had a terrific career in the NBA. Charles Jenkins, who got drafted by the Golden State Warriors, played at Hofstra. I mean, they have the most talent, maybe, of anyone in this bracket. I really like Red Scare. I like Scoochie Smith. The addition of him, they've got a good mix of old and young which I think is really important. I think the TBT, you got to have some fresh legs because you're going to have to play a number of games in a short period of time. But you've also got to have maturity and experience. I've also got a former 10-year NBA pro in the Kophis kid who played at Ohio State, who gives him a big body. I like the versatility of Red Scare's lineup. And then I think the best coach team in the TBT, and I might have to change it because my man LaFonso Ellis at Hartford has a really good team, and he does a great job with it. But the Golden Eagles, they are really, really good. And, Travis Dean will come in and make a jumper, and everyone will want to have a beer with him because he's like the greatest dude in the world to have a beer with and hang out. And he was obviously a terrific player. But Deontay Burton, who started at Marquette, transferred to Ohio State, played in Oklahoma City, he's the perfect TBT player. And then Darius Johnson-Odom coming back, he was the 2020 MVP, is another guy. Those guys are just built for the TBT because they're positionless, they're physical, they can rack it, they can shoot it, they're tough. They're kind of the mold of the DeAndre Kane and DJ Kennedy. You've got to have skill, physicality, athleticism, and toughness if you're going to be successful. They've got a legitimate size. Elgin Cook is a tough matchup up front. I like those teams moving forward and never count out, like I said, the Golden Eagles team. You just can't count them out because of how well they're coached. And again, their pedigree. Plus, we need Dino to stick around for a while because he's fun to hang out with. Unfortunately, I'm not in Dayton.
Well, and guys, I got to say, too, unfortunately, we're not going to be in West Virginia because the three of us were there last summer. That was so much fun. That was a great regional. And West Virginia, deservedly so, is hosting a TBT regional for the second consecutive year. And let's take a look at that portion of the bracket now. Obviously, Best Virginia and Heard That are the two co-hosts of this region. Heard That, the Marshall alumni team, Best Virginia repping West Virginia. The Buccaneers are back in West Virginia. The East Tennessee State University alumni team that went all the way to the third round and almost pulled off a win against Sideline Cancer in West Virginia last year. Angel, what do you make of this bracket? A lot of familiar faces and teams back in West Virginia.
Tough. I mean, Coach mentioned it earlier, just who's going to be that team that's going to be the upset team. We saw a couple of the teams in this bracket that were literally upset teams last year. So I want to get into first with Best Virginia, out of West Virginia. Obviously, they have a large crowd that they bring into, a lot of talent that they have. They did lose going against Team 23 last year, but it's the potent offense that they have. Obviously, do we need some type of clip of John Flowers and what he was able to do? Like down the line, it was just a walking bucket. So Kevin Jones, Devin Banks, Banks with the roster as well. They were just very good. Like we saw throughout getting up to that Team 23 game. It was impressive, but I think just going down and giving everybody their flowers, because obviously that is a team that everyone's looking at. And then obviously Heard That with Marshall too, another team that everyone's going to have their eyes out on. I want to bring up two other teams. You mentioned the Buccaneers, who are really, really good. Obviously the heartbreaking loss against Sideline Cancer. But the thing is just the pieces that they bring back. I don't want to butcher his name, but Justin, I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name. So yes, Toyo. So he's going to Team Heartfire now. So what does that look like for them? Well, they bring in two other players with Jalen Riley out of ETSU and then the Butler transfer of Bo Hodges. So what's that going to look like losing him, but also bringing two other incredible scorers as well? But they're a great team, a lot that they can build around, obviously experience from last year as well. But I thought it was really cool, the stories that go into it. The founding fathers from last year, I just want to revisit the situation that occurred that was really just heartbreaking with AJ Davis. He was involved in a car accident while delivering food to the homeless, and just shows you the heart there. And his both legs were amputated, and just the fact that him being able to be with TBT, with his team, rolled out on the floor and honored as well. I know that was something you talk about going viral for the right reasons. Just the support that he had, the support of his team, and obviously a heartbreaking experience not having him on the floor, but the fact that we were able to honor him in that way was huge. So I don't know where to go, just as far as the respect that I have for him and, you know, everything that he has brought to the Founding Fathers and obviously an alumni team out of James Madison. But I still think about that day from last year and how the TBT family showed up as well. So just sending my hearts and thoughts out to AJ Davis at this time too. But another cool story with him is Kamaya Smalls played last year with this team. She, I think, was the first woman to play in the TBT game in 5 years. So I remember thinking to myself, man, we got to get more women out here. And obviously for me, you know, being able to cover the WNBA and looking across my board and seeing that she was picked up by the Minnesota Lynx and being able to call her game in her minutes with them as well, knowing everything that she put in over college time, as well as being able to step in now with TBT and then seeing her dreams come true on the WNBA side was really, really cool.
All right, we're thrilled to be joined by two of the faces of the West Virginia region, but they play for the two arch rivals in this region as well. John Flowers of Best Virginia, the West Virginia alumni team, and John Elmore of Heard That, the Marshall alumni team. Guys, you both have had outstanding college and professional careers. You've had some signature moments in the tournament as well. But what I think really makes you guys so integral to the TBT community is the rivalry that you guys are not only a part of, but do such a good job playing up. I mean, it extended into the group chat that we had for the show that we're airing right now. I mean, it really is amazing, the great rivalry that you two guys have. And look, it could be where you two face each other in the second round of the tournament this year. I mean, have you discussed stakes or anything like that? You know, maybe a little bit more to sweeten the pot beyond just that $1 million?
Nah, I don't think so. I mean, did we bet last year?
Nah, see, we let y'all down. We didn't make it. That was our fault. That was our fault.
Your fault. Let the state down. It was cool.
Not the state.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's
the entire state.
Everyone's really looking forward to us playing each other. You know, I guess that's why they're 4th seed this year, so that they can actually have a chance.
Yeah. We gotta talk to TBT representatives about that seeding, man. It's a little disappointing, but I guess if they're playing up that potential second round matchup, that would be fun for all parties involved. But you know, I see us coming out on top this year, but we'll see what happens.
Hey, John Elmore, how close were you to jumping ship again this year? I mean, John Flowers, I hear the NIL packages at West Virginia. I heard they're pretty good. So, was there any package, discussed? I mean, or you got to roll with your boys?
I mean, there was a few behind the scenes calls. Like you said, they did offer some solid deals, packages, money, financial aid, whatever. But I got to stick with my guys, man. I got to stick with Heard That, representing the school, representing Marshall. So
we only want OT. We only want.
Oh wow! It's not a brother package. You don't want? Okay, that's pretty much.
Elmore. I mean, he's great, man. He's his image, his likeness. He'd be great for Friday beers. That's what I was telling him.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
I mean, hey, he fits, man. I mean, he could probably make them a lot of money in advertising. I'm serious. But the only Elmore that we offer this year.
Okay.
We all have to run our race. I just wanted to quickly ask you, obviously, we're revealing the teams that are in each region. What do you like about your region? And obviously tell us a few things that you're excited about for the crew that you guys suiting up for this summer.
Go ahead, John.
We're excited. Founding Fathers, like you said, playing for a heck of a cause. The AJ Davis situation and his story is just crazy. But, we're excited. They were a tough team last year, but, we're gearing back up. We still have 2 roster additions we haven't announced yet. So we're keeping everybody on their toes. But we're super disappointed in that 4th seed. So just everybody stay tuned, and just we look forward to that first game to set the tone.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. One thing about last year was all the teams came in, and I mean, all of them really liked it. They were really surprised by Charleston, West Virginia. You know what I mean? Like they never really heard of West Virginia or what's in West Virginia, and they really liked the area. I can only think of one GM that said some pretty bad stuff about West Virginia, but other than that, everyone liked it. It's great for our state. Hopefully we can play Marshall and bring all the fans out. But it's great for our state just to get on this national stage, you know what I mean, and shine some light on West Virginia.
John, you say 2 more roster additions. Are these going to be big announcements, difference makers, guys that are going to be recognizable names?
Yeah, definitely. In the past we've had good teams. We've won a few games here and there, but if you're going to make a run in the TBT, you've got to have those guys that can just flat out go get it when the game gets tough. So we're looking to add 2 more. I can't say the names yet.
Yes, you can.
No. I can't spoil it. Like Ott's going to announce them, so I'm going to let him get the shine. But
you're going to give Ott the okay. All right.
Yeah. See, I'm the quiet little brother. He's the star of the show. So we're keeping everybody on their toes. Just know we're upset with the 4 seed. So I can't blame you because we haven't announced them yet, but we're gonna make a splash.
I'll make an announcement right here. Assistant coach that just got on board, man. Javon Carter, you remember him, John Elmore?
Yeah. Solid player.
Javon Carter, yeah. You guys met in the tournament, NCAA tournament?
Yeah. He gave us fits.
I just want to know if you remember them or not, you know.
Already. All right.
Are we hyping up assistant coaches?
He'll be more support, you know.
Okay.
I hope he picks up a couple of tabs also.
They say every time John sees him, he gets a little nervous. I don't know.
Yeah. I got to have a word with him. There was a couple of hand checks, a couple of reaches that weren't called. So we're going to have to talk about those, see if he really fouled me or not. But good player, man. Shout out to him, man. Heck of a job he's done so far in his career.
Yeah, good players, right?
Well, fellas, hey, it's great to have you on as always. Anything else? I know, John Elmore, you're sitting on some breaking news later, and John Flowers, you just shared a little bit on your end. But anything else you guys want to get out there? Before we say so long and say see you in West Virginia.
I mean, I think we should put a steak dinner on it, man. If we do match up, winner. Loser buys winner steak dinner. There's no guarantees. Everybody's got to win their first round game, but nice little steak dinner wouldn't be a bad idea.
I mean, I gotta get my sponsors in order, and I didn't make
your sponsors in order.
I didn't make enough.
Not checking for the checkbook. You and Chris would be great together.
John makes me overseas too, so I'm humble. I'm really.
Oh my gosh.
Really, you know what I mean? I mean, you can help. You could talk to the governor for me or something. You know what I mean?
I mean, we could do first watch brunch or something if steak dinner is too much, man. Come on.
Yeah, John, I think he's more along the Chili's or Applebee's gift card right now. That's what I'm hearing. Man. So maybe we can kind of figure something. Everybody's pockets aren't as deep, I see.
I mean, this is a real estate mogul / international bucket getter, and we can't make a little friendly wager. Like, I'm disappointed.
We're in a recession right now.
Oh my!
I like it. I like that. Hey, gas is expensive, right?
It's inflation. We'll blame it on inflation.
But nah, we could do something, John, for sure.
Okay. Well, my people will hit your people, and we'll figure it out.
Hey, John Flowers, you don't want to negotiate with Ott now. I can tell you that much.
Right, you better figure it out right now. Yeah, or the odds are not in your favor.
I just want to say, man, it's great that TBT is coming to West Virginia. Hopefully, we can get it in Morgantown one day. That would be huge for us. But I'm glad they're coming to West Virginia and shining some light on our state. And I just hope we could pack it out like Wichita or one of those other TBT teams that are hosting, and they really get a lot of fans. So I have no doubt in my mind we could do it. I think last year was a great turnout, but this year will be better for sure.
That sounds great. We're with you, man. Hey, be safe. Have good training camps. And sorry we won't be with you guys out there because we had a great time last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
John Flowers, John Elmore, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Good stuff. All right, with that, we have gone through all 8 regions. A couple of bookkeeping notes for you before we say so long and get some final thoughts from Coach and Angel. But remember, as far as tickets are concerned, just log on to thetournament.com/tickets. They are on sale now. We will announce dates and times later today, so be sure to stay tuned to @thetournament across social media platforms for the latest news in that regard. And a reminder, the 2 finalists of each region advanced to Dayton for the championships. The one exception there being Omaha and Wichita. Those winners will play a quarterfinal in Wichita, and the winner of that quarterfinal will go to Dayton for the semis. TBT Championship Week, July 28th through August 2nd at UD Arena. And by the way, we teased this at the start of the show as well, and we'll bring it back now. The bracket challenge that we want you to be aware of. You can win up to $4,000 in cash. Enter now. There are prizes for first through 1,000th. Money sent with Zelle. Angel mentioned this. Coach and I certainly agree. It's a lot of fun pressing that button and receiving your prize money. So be sure to enter the bracket challenge now. Angel, final thoughts before we say so long?
I know that 3-point contest is something I'm excited about as well. That was the most intriguing aspect. I don't know if you alluded to it too, but I think just overall the teams are set, right? Everyone knows at the end of the day, it's survive or go home. And I think there was something right off the top where they were saying, you can either win the whole thing or lose in the first round. So that's what I love about this tournament. You can have all the talent in the world. I remember even, the journey of Boeheim's Army, how hard that was to get to that final game. There were some close games that came down the stretch where they weren't even in contention. I really thought that it was away from them, and look how they closed out. So at the end of the day, I just want to see teams go at it. Coach, I'm big on t-shirts. Maybe we need the no marshmallows in the tournament as well, because that's what it comes down to. I love it.
I'm a little, I think the TBT needs to do a no marshmallows t-shirt. TBT basketball, no marshmallows.
I love it.
Because that's what it's all about. Really it is. As you made a great point, like you've got to compete. You got to compete to the very end, because with the even mending, if you can get a stop, you can get back in the game. The strategy goes along with the even mending. Makes every single game a game winner. But the TBT is a family. We talk about this, but you can, whether it's the alumni team, the teams with the cause, the teams that want to be part of it, they quickly get immersed into the identity and the culture of the TBT. And it's infectious, and it's fun, but don't mistake one thing: it is fiercely competitive. And players, once that ball goes up and that light goes on, nowhere in the summer, not in the NBA Summer League, maybe in the WNBA because they're playing for championships, but there's not another basketball being played in the summer where players will play as hard as they do in the TBT. And look, I've seen them all. I've been to every single level. Whether you're going to the Peach Jam, whether you're going to whatever type of basketball you're watching in the summer, there won't be a place where they're going to play harder and be more competitive than the TBT. No marshmallows need apply.
Everyone wants to put their little placard on that wall at the end of each game. And that's what it comes down to. You're literally yelling at each other, and you can see them embracing one another because it took everything to get that game-winning shot. And you have that opportunity to say we're advancing every single time. I think that's awesome.
And the player too that is named by his team as the designated, placard placer. That's a huge honor. That's a big honor.
Absolutely.
Angel, Coach, great to be with you as always. So excited to run it back with you in TBT 2022. You guys know the bracket. Fans, fill out your brackets. Teams, start your opposition research. We will talk to you in July. Thanks for tuning in. This has been the TBT 2022 Selection Show.